All right, good evening. We'll go ahead and get started. We have a public meeting tonight, and Dr. Deichel is going to take us through the 2017 budget.
Yes, last board meeting we ended up having a very long, lengthy presentation on our budget that kind of was almost like our public hearing. I was told after the last meeting that some of my stuff is boring, so I tried to lighten it up a little bit. So go ahead to the next slide.
Oh, look
So,
at that.
Mrs. Perkins.
Oh, okay.
Aw,
Very nice.
look at you.
Okay.
I'm sure that'll make a
The first fund we are going to talk about is transportation, all right? Who says accountants can't have fun? Bean counters that we are. Anyway, this is the legal ad that goes into the paper for our bus replacement fund. And it's a 12-year ad, or 12-year fund is what we're looking at. In 2017, we're looking to purchase 9 new buses, cost of $924,750. And then on the far right, it says total contract cost, we're just estimating $700,000. Really, after 2017, the rest of it really doesn't matter because we'll change it up and down depending on the condition of the buses. We may have more rust on some, we may have more mechanical problems. So all you're really looking at is 2017, but we have to put a 12-year bus plan together. And then at the very bottom, it shows where the money's coming from. I'm showing $2,045,000 from property taxes. They're showing $275,000 as a potential tax cap credit that we would lose. Auto excise tax of $103,000. So we're looking at about $1,873,000 to fund this plan. So next slide. So when you look at it, we have 3 buses that are 12 years old. We have 9 buses that are over 12 years old. Once they hit 12 years, we have to do 2 inspections per year. We have $924,750 estimated expense to replace the buses. We are advertising a tax rate of 10 cents. We think it's going to be closer to 6. We'll have a levy cap of approximately $1,389,000. That's one of the things that the state is doing. They're capping our bus replacement fund, and they're only allowing like a 3-4% growth per year. So it's hard to purchase all the buses that you need when you're only growing by 3 or 4% in your levy. Next one. So do you have any questions on the bus replacement plan?
Hey, little purple question.
I am good, aren't I?
Gee, it's not boring at all now.
Daniel, I'll give you some lessons.
Okay.
Okay, no questions?
Oh,
Next one will be capital projects. Renee?
I'm sorry, I was like done.
Oh, I'm not done. I got
Don't be
37
done.
more slides to go through. Come on. Okay, see, now here's capital projects. Mrs. Perkins, look up.
I'm listening.
Okay, you saw that
I
one?
got you.
Oh, my.
See?
Under construction.
Yeah.
Okay, in capital projects, this is the ad that we have to put into the paper. And it's a 3-year plan, so we look at 17, 18, and 19. And you're going to approve all 3 years. 18 and 19 don't really mean a whole heck of a lot. It's just 17 that we're doing. So if you go to the next slide on that one. When you look at 2017 CPF, we have a maximum tax rate, again, another max cap, tax rate cap of 0.4165. To this cap is added a utility insurance adjustment of approximately 7.6 cents. This rate is then adjusted by a 3-year rolling assessed value calculation. So if our assessed valuation goes down, we lose money. If it goes up, we make a little money. 2016's tax rate was 27 cents. We're advertising 31, almost 32 cents. We should be around 26 to 29 cents is what I figure we'll be at. Okay, next one. When you look at the breakdown on capital projects, you can see we have land acquisition, development, purchase of equipment, sports facilities, professional services, emergency technology, building construction, and what's the green one? The maintenance of buildings are usually your two biggest costs on that. Go ahead to the next one. Some of the major CPF projects in 17, we have miscellaneous improvements in paving at all locations for $1,422,000, maintenance of equipment at all locations of $450,000. And then I just came up with some of the bigger items so you could see what we have in the plan. Track repairs at Charlestown Middle School, New Wash Middle High, $12,000, gym fan at Maple, key card access at North Haven, mobile laptops at North Haven, roof repairs at Riverside, sound panels at Utica. So that was 17. In 18, go ahead, next one. Is that 18? I can't see up there. Yep, okay. Again, you'll see miscellaneous improvements in paving, $1 million. We have paving throughout the whole school district that we need. Maintenance of equipment of $450,000. Student furniture at Jeff, New Wash Middle High, Parkview Middle High for $128,000. A playground addition at New Wash Elementary. Computer lab at New Wash Elementary, an upgrade, replace lockers, bathroom upgrades. And then if you go to 2019, again, it'll show miscellaneous improvements in paving for $1 million, maintenance of equipment, carpeting, replace student lockers, portable bleachers, student desks, miscellaneous improvements. You can just see it just goes on and on and on. And it kind of just flows back and forth between what year we need to do it, depends how much money is available. So go to the next slide. So do you have any questions on capital projects?
Dr. Dykle, I had one. On looking at the 2017, you got mobile laptops
Yeah.
as part of capital projects. Why would that be?
Why would that be?
Yeah. I mean, why would we have mobile laptops as part of capital projects?
Oh, that's for the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, because our laptops only go down to grade 3 through 12.
Okay.
So we're looking at some of the mobile carts, that house carts on wheels, so that they can just move them into a classroom and out. That's what it is.
Okay.
Can you tell me, Dr. Dykle, what kind of roof repairs we need at Riverside?
Oh, we just put money in there just in case we have a leak. We try to do that at a lot of the schools.
Is it not under warranty?
No. Pardon me?
Is it not under warranty still?
There may be sections that aren't. I can't remember exactly when we put that money in there, what it was for, but
Okay.
Todd said to put money in there for Riverside, so we did. I mean, it may only be $5,000 in case there's a roof leak and we need to have somebody come out and look at it, that's all.
Okay. Well,
And that doesn't mean it's going to be spent.
No,
It just means
Right.
that we're
Correct.
budgeting for
we're
it.
budgeting for it.
I mean, I'm just thinking of all the roof repairs we have going on, and Riverside is not, definitely should be under warranty, so it popped a question in my mind about why would we need to set aside money for that? And it's $25,000.
We try to set money up at each of the different schools. You know, since we haven't had any roof leaks, maybe we could be looking at getting some in the future, I don't know. But
Okay.
I just go by what Todd and Travis tell me to do, and we put it in, so. Okay, next one.
Here he goes again.
Okay, this is the budget ad that goes into the Indiana Gateway System. You can see today's our budget hearing. We have $1 million in there for the rainy day fund, $70,295,121 for the general fund, debt service $10,324,85, pension debt of $1,259,000, capital projects of $6,472,255, transportation $5,947,852, bus replacement $1,904,750. Total that we're advertising is $97,200,165, and you can see our current tax levy that we're getting in 16 is $24,123,000, and in 17 we're advertising $24,648,000. So it's up just a little bit. In the 2017 budgets, we've already just reviewed those. Go to the next one. The advertised versus estimated tax rates. General fund, there is no tax rates since it's all state tuition support. Debt service, we advertise 47 cents. We expect it to be around 39.5. Pension, we advertise 3, should be around 2.5. Capital projects, we advertise 30, almost 32, should be around 26 and a little bit over. Transportation, we advertise 30, should be around 21. Bus replacement at 10, should come in around 6. Rainy day, 0. So we advertised $1.23, and we should be at about 96.5 cents. The circuit breaker tax cap impact, just to show you what we've lost so far from all the tax caps that we've had starting in 2010. So far, we've lost $15,054,000 that we could have put to good use in our school district. Okay, next one. These are some of the budget bullet points that I want to address. In enrollment, we had a small increase in our ADM of 40-plus students after last year's drop of 222 students, so we've come up slightly. Funding is mainly tied to enrollment in the general fund. Enrollment formula is being restructured to put less emphasis on the complexity index, so we don't know how that's going to hurt us or help us in the next biennium budget. Revenue is approximate 1.21% increase in 2017. General fund must be balanced. Debt service, all debt must be approved by the Department of Local Government Finance. The transportation fund is expected to have a positive cash balance. I may come to you in the next board meeting or two and transfer some of that money to the rainy day fund so we don't lose it. And then circuit breaker tax caps of $2.9 million in 2016 and are expected to continue to rise because of all the things that are happening in Clark County. And then in summary, we're expecting a decrease in our 2017 tax rate. All rates and levies are capped by the DLGF, therefore no local control. Enrollment will always be a major factor in funding. New laws are constantly tying the hands of schools that I told you about last board meeting. Circuit breaker will continue to increase by reducing revenue in capital projects, transportation, and bus replacement. So I am here to answer any questions you may have. It's a little different than the last time. And I tried to dazzle you with mine.
I'm just glad those presentation skills are up to about a middle school student. We're moving in the right direction.
All right, do we have any public comments before we close
Thanks, Tony.
before we close the meeting? All right, so we'll officially go ahead and close the meeting and move into the regular scheduled meeting. Thank you, Dr. Dykle.
Thank you, Dr. Piper.
Renee, please show all board
Insightful.
members present except for Mr. White and Ms. Solomon. And if you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next item is the board salutes, but I guess all the students decided to do spring break, so, fall break, so we don't have any board salutes tonight. So we'll move on into the approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes tonight, board? Dr. Mellon? No? Okay. We have a motion to approve the agenda as is.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hall.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. All in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes from the previous. We have the executive, regular, and special meeting. I'd like to take all those together.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gilkey. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any questions on that? All in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Dr. Mellon, any public comments on agenda items tonight?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Moving into consent, we have 6 items tonight, and again, would like to take those together.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft,
Second.
and thank you, Ms. Gilkey. Any questions on consent tonight? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Ms. Kraft, would you be so kind as to take us through gifts to buildings?
Yes, looks like we have $5,375.39. And a lot of PTOs involvement. It's so important that parents belong to PTOs. As an ex-PTO president, I'm making a plea for that. It's just good, kids need to know that their parents are active in their life. And I'd like to move that we accept the gifts to buildings.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kraft.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Gilkey. Any questions, comments on gifts to buildings? All right, all in favor? B50, thank you. All right, moving into action items. The first is the 2016-17 U of L student practicum site contract revision. And Ms. Schneff, good evening.
Thank you. Yes, this is just an addendum to the agreement that we already signed, and that is to add the student practice site agreement. So we're just asking you to include that in the agreement that we previously presented.
All right, thank you.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Gilkey.
Second?
And thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions on the site contract revision? All right, all in favor? B50, thank you. Next is Title I contract services.
Yeah, I'm doing this for Amy tonight, but this is the agreement that we have with the private schools and agencies within our district, which includes Providence, Sacred Heart, Juvenile Detention Center, and Child Place. And for each of those agencies and schools, we have to set aside certain federal dollars in order to give access to their students. And so these are contracts approving that. They range from about $31,000, which goes to Child Place, to just a daily rate or an hourly rate for tutoring in the private schools.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
Second.
And thank you, Mr. Hall. Any questions on the agreements? We pretty much do this every year, I guess.
Every
huh?
year.
Yeah, okay. All right, all in favor? B50, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is the approval of the grant for the 2016 through 2018 Title III language instruction for limited English proficient and immigrant students. And Dr. Hartledge, good evening.
Good evening. Recently, I brought this grant to you for approval to submit, and it has been granted in the amount of $99,299.98. And the primary objective of this is to be a supplement to the monies for our English language students to help provide better support and professional development for student achievement.
All
May I
right.
make that motion?
All right, thank you, Ms. Kraft.
And I will second that.
And thank you, Ms. Perkins. Do we have any questions for Dr. Hartledge? Comments?
That's wonderful. Do we get to clap now? I think that's wonderful, yes.
All right, well, you said we would get it, so great.
Good job.
Great job. All right, all in favor? B50, thank you. Next is the approval to dispose of vehicles. Dr. Dykle, this is always your favorite part.
Oh, yeah. The administration is requesting permission to dispose of a 1996, okay, 20 years, Chevrolet van. And there's the VIN number from Auxiliary Services. According to our mechanics, the van has a cracked head and approximately 140,000 miles and not worth fixing. Also, the Transportation Department would like to declare a surplus and dispose of the following vehicles. Bus 006, which is a 2000 International. This bus has been scavenged for parts and hasn't had an inspection since 2014. Bus 952 is a 1994 Bluebird. This bus hasn't moved since 2013, needs brakes, exhaust, new seats, and a new floor. It's kind of the old Flintstone type of bus. Bus 960 is a 1996 Carpenter, needs a new exhaust, roof is rusted as well as the body, and the seats and floors are destroyed. So the superintendent recommends declaring these vehicles as surplus and allow the administration to dispose of them.
Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft.
Second.
And thank you, Mr. Hall. Any questions on the disposal of vehicles?
It's, when we talk about dispose, going to a dump, or can we let like high schools have these for homecoming activities or
They're not.
You mean blow 'em
prom, when they have those emergency thing before the week of the prom to let kids know about dangers of drinking and driving? Or is there any use we can get out of these?
I don't think they're even able to be moved on their own. I mean, they'd have to be towed to a site.
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't want to sell them to anybody. I'd be worried about a liability issue. So I'd rather just dispose of them at a dump, you know, and get $2,000 a vehicle or whatever the scrap price is.
I can just imagine what the cartoon would have looked like for this.
Yeah.
Renee, and see on that bus, on the first one, there was supposed to be a sound, but
Yeah.
the sound didn't come out.
Oh, okay.
So there's supposed to be a bus sound. So I was trying to have audio and, you
Yeah.
know, visual there.
Yeah, I get that.
We tried.
All right, further questions? All in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is general fund appropriation transfer.
Yes, twice a year we come to the board, and this is the time for the schools to do their reallocation of money within their budgets and everything. And what you see before you is the resolution, taking money from one account to another and the dollar amount. And yes, we do go down to 10 cents. Some of the schools will want to move 10 cents to make sure they have enough money in their budget. So we do this, you know, twice a year, so we're just asking permission to go ahead and move that.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
Second?
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any questions for Dr. Dykle on general fund appropriation transfer? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is the common school loan application.
Yes, I'm pinch hitting for Amy on this one. The Common School Fund loans available to assist school corporations in financing their school building construction and educational technology programs. We intend to use this loan for the following educational technology programs: to update, replace wireless access points in each building, purchase new switches and UPS units for internet access, establish Chromebook mobile labs for grades K1 and 2 at each elementary. So we're recommending that we apply for $1,026,600 to be used for our educational technology.
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hall.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Questions, comments on the common school loan?
Yeah, Tom, I think every year we apply for this loan, it's a loan. Now, if we paid off last year's loan,
5 years ago. It's a 5-year loan. It'll
Oh.
be every 5 years. I mean, every year we have the prior 4 years.
Okay.
loan. Yeah, it's a 5-year repayment.
5-year payoff.
Yes.
Is that established Chromebook mobile labs redundant from what we just heard in the CPF?
If we don't have enough money in here, we'll have it in CPF, but we don't have to spend it in the CPF if we don't have to.
Okay.
Our goal, first and foremost, is we want to make sure all of our elementary schools have a mobile lab of Chromebooks.
Sure.
For K through 2 use. So that's, if this loan is approved, which we anticipate it is, then we'll be able to go ahead and accommodate all of our elementary schools with those mobile labs. But if not, that's why the dollars are, some of those dollars are built into the CPF.
And remember, when we do the budget, I'm starting on it in May and June and not knowing what Amy's gonna, you know, apply for at the next time. So, yeah, it may be redundant too, but
Okay.
like I said, we can always come back and reallocate it for something else.
All right, further questions? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you.
I'll let Dr. Mellon answer the next one.
All right, it's approval of the fiscal agent for Skill-Up Grant.
Board, are part of a consortium in the region through our Region 10 Works Council. We've applied for a skill-up grant through the state of Indiana. It says in the language that we've received, or that we've been awarded the grant. That's not the case yet. We were hoping to hear by now, but hopefully maybe by the end of this week. It's $1.7 million. It benefits, to some degree, Greater Clark County schools, but really many entities across Clark and Floyd and Harrison counties. And the fiscal agent, I've talked to Dr. Dykle about this, we need someone that will make sure that we're handling the financial components. Part of the grant is hiring a person who would be a coordinator for the Skill Up grant. So in terms of human resource, that wouldn't be on Greater Clark. We're just managing the dollars. We're accepting the dollars, making sure the dollars are distributed. And there's really no other entity of these groups that I've been talking about that are prepared to do that other than us. So there is a person that would help with the actual legwork that needs to be done, and all we're doing is acting as that fiscal agent.
As fiscal agent, sometimes in grants, there's a percentage that the fiscal agent gets. Are we included in that? Is there in that, do you know?
Yeah.
It's usually about 2.
Greater Clark will receive a value of the grant, so there's 1.7 million total dollars, and Greater Clark gets a percentage of the grant to benefit our students and provide training for teachers and so on. So it's a pretty extensive grant. So we do get dollars out of the grant.
Okay. And like you said, there's going to be an employee that will do most of the legwork on it.
Exactly.
It won't burden our
No.
departments. Okay.
No. Okay, do we have I guess we need a motion for this.
Move to approve.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gilkey.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Okay, questions, comments?
Sorry, that was a little early.
Just for clarification, Dr. Mellon, because this is a very important program to me, this grant is specifically to provide programming, teacher support, whatever is needed to kind of watch these 21st century scholars more closely, especially with their transition from middle school to high school. Is that correct?
No, that's a Gear Up grant that's going to be
Okay.
coming our way. But what the Skill Up grant does is it will specifically, it'll provide exposure as part of our careers class at 9th grade to advanced manufacturing careers and pathways in that career. It will allow kids to be involved 10th and 11th grade in the Connexus Advanced Manufacturing Program. Senior year, they'll be able to transition to Prosser to finish out the number of hours you need toward an industrial maintenance technician federal apprenticeship. And so this is if our students, they could leave our high school environment and have a federally approved apprenticeship journeyman's card in industrial maintenance. And we're partnering with, I think there are 31 manufacturers in our region that we're partnering. And this is not just for Greater Clark students, but it will go across South Harrison, New Albany, Floyd, West Clark, and I think those are and then of course Greater Clark. So this is all to help improve advanced manufacturing and the career pathway in advanced manufacturing. So this has been through the Region 10 Works Council, which we're part of.
Okay. So I thought it was more focused on 21st century scholars.
That'll be a Gear Up grant that comes through Purdue. We just received recognition that we would be a recipient of a Gear Up award. I
Okay.
think we'll be one of 11 school systems in the state, and it's because of all our college and career readiness work. And it does focus on middle school students who have been have more challenges in their lives and making sure that they're set to transition through middle school and up into high school.
Okay.
So that
Thank
will be
you.
coming. That will be coming your way in the near future too.
Okay, thank you.
And Dr. Mellon, I just had one question on this. So what determines the percentage of who gets what of this grant?
We already have a budget that has been, when we had to submit the grant to the state, we already laid out a budget so that all of the different school corporations receive an allotment of dollars to make sure we have advanced manufacturing coursework in place, the Connexus program, our teachers are properly trained. That was a second part of it, that we have dollars to make sure that our kids can transition to Prosser, so Prosser is a partner in it, Ivy Tech is a partner, Work One is a partner, and I think we have, as I said, I think it's 31 manufacturers, because the manufacturers need to be the ones that would be hiring our students across all those areas. So we had to get guarantees out of these manufacturers that they would even hire our students during their senior year. So while they're at Prosser, they could also be working in the advanced manufacturing arena, even during their senior year.
Okay, very good.
Just I hope they required that we have a fiscal agent determined, and we were the best organization to do it. So I appreciate your consideration. And I checked with Dr. Dykel, and it's not something, especially with the grant coordinator that would be hired as part of it, then our resources wouldn't be affected. Thank you.
All right, further questions? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is the partnership agreement for the 2016-17 JAG program at Jeffersonville High School. Dr. Griffin, good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening. This agreement is in conjunction with Jeffersonville High School and Work 1 to offer a JAG class. This is a renewal of an agreement that has been previously implemented. This does impact juniors and seniors of this school year. The superintendent recommends approval of the 2016-17 partnership agreement for the JAG program at Jeff High.
All right, thank you.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. And thank you, Ms. Kraft. Any questions, comments on the JAG program? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is the SIG grant approval for River Valley Middle.
Yes, we're super excited to share the news with you that last Friday, Ms. Dyer received the phone call from the IDOE that River Valley Middle School has been awarded SIG grant beginning this year. It is a 5-year grant, just like Bridgepoint and Parkview's grant. So we're very excited about the opportunities that this brings River Valley and our team members there. Ms. Dyer and myself and a couple other team members from Greater Clark traveled up to Indianapolis a few weeks ago because we knew that we were very close to this SIG grant last school year, and we went up to ask specific questions about how we could improve our chances for this year. And Michelle Dyer and her team did a wonderful job of making those adjustments to the school improvement grant. And we are inviting them here on the 18th to share some details with you with regards to how that will be implemented and the great things we're going to be doing with these additional resources. So the superintendent does recommend acceptance of the school improvement grant for River Valley Middle School.
All right,
Make that motion.
thank you, Ms.
Second.
Kraft, and thank you, Ms. Perkins. Questions, comments on the SIG grant?
I know how much they were asking for. Are you going to tell us how much they actually received?
They have not shared with us.
Okay.
The DOE has not officially shared with us
Okay.
what we will receive. Do you want me to tell you what we were asking for?
Go ahead.
1.3 million over the 5 years. And so we feel pretty confident that we will receive something close to that.
Do we know how many schools were selected this time?
You know what? I don't think that's been shared
Okay.
yet.
But also thanks to Ms. Perkins. She stepped in and when we had to sort of respond to an IDOE request for a phone conference, and we had I don't know, 20 people in the room. It was River Valley
Yes.
came out en masse and did a great job, and we appreciate Ms. Perkins being there representing the board. It was sort of a last minute ask, so we appreciate it.
Definitely.
Strong work, Dr. Griffin. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thanks. Next is Community and Schools Memorandum of Understanding.
Yes, sir. The purpose of this agreement is to establish a collaborative agreement between Greater Clark community schools, county schools, and communities and schools of Clark County to enhance the quality and effectiveness of school achievement through the support of appropriate community resources and services for students and families at selected schools. This particular agreement specifically targets the continuance of current services offered by communities and schools to serve middle school students and also begin servicing high school students with after-school services through funding from 21st Community Learning Center grant. So we're very excited about what this opportunity will allow Jeffersonville High School. There's a lot of throughout the school day and after the school day opportunities that students at Jeff High will receive through this Communities and Schools grant.
All right, thank you. All right, do we have a motion for the,
So moved.
thank you, Ms. Perkins,
Second.
and thank you, Ms. Kraft. Questions, comments for Dr. Griffin?
Just for clarification, so this is a new program. This isn't 1, 2, 3 read, it isn't after-school programming, this is new.
Yes, ma'am, this is an extension of, we know we've had communities and schools in our elementaries and middles. I was lucky enough to travel up to Indianapolis back in the spring with Communities and Services, Communities and Schools, Ms. Mormon from there to lobby for some funding for Jeffersonville High School because it is mainly a elementary and middle school endeavor, and they did grant that. And so we're looking forward to being able to provide things such as a therapist, family support specialist, Communities and Schools resource coordinator for both during the school day and after the school day resources. We're very excited about what this is going to, the opportunities that this will give us at Jeffersonville High School.
Dr. Griffin, did I remember correctly that is Jeffersonville High School going to be the first high school in Indiana in the community schools?
Yes.
Program of services?
We're truly blazing a trail here, and that was, we felt like we were fighting an uphill battle when we went up because we knew that there's a lot of need throughout the state in a lot of elementaries and middle schools. So for us to be able to have this opportunity at the high school level, and it's not been done before, is something we're very excited about.
I'm sure they'll work closely with our counselors.
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
I think it's exciting that we've established the fact that in high school you still have need for a clothes closet and for food and for a therapist and for things. And of course, I'm just sold on Communities and Schools anyway. I think they just do a fabulous job. And I'm very grateful that we're recognizing that high school kids need the tutoring and the mentoring